Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Does your iPhone have a cracked screen like this one? Well, of course it does. That's why you're watching this video. But fear not, today I'm going to show you how you can replace it. Now, I'll be performing this procedure on this iPhone 5S, but this procedure should be very similar, if not exactly the same, for all iPhone 5s. And I'm going to be using this replacement screen that I got off eBay for about $45, including shipping, which also included these tools you need for the replacement procedure. 2 screwdrivers, 2 plastic prying tools, suction cup, and also a pin for removing the SIM card. So with your phone turned off, first thing you want to do is to remove your SIM card, like this. Next, with the smaller screwdriver, you'll need to remove 2 tiny screws called pentalobe screws at the bottom of your phone. As you can see, I've already removed them in order for this video to go faster. Alright, next we grab our suction cup, and then we press it nice and firm towards the bottom of our phone. Just make sure as you're pulling on this suction cup to detach your screen, you don't yank on it, because you could damage the wiring for your home button, and then if that happens, then you'll be in a lot of trouble. As soon as you feel like the screen is starting to get loose, you stop, and then from there we're going to go on to using our pry tools to completely remove the screen. Okay? Alright, I think it's coming loose. Next, with the screen partially loosened, we're going to start using our plastic prying tools. First, I'm going to grab this, try to squeeze it between the screen and the case, and see if we can get this case to be a little bit more loose. And then from there, I'm going to use this plastic tool to gently go around and detach this face from the case. There we go, it should be completely loose now. Alright, so with our screen loose, next we're going to disconnect the wire for our home button. Now, as you can see on this phone, this is the connection for the home button, but on your phone there's going to be a metal cover covering this connection, which you can pry off with this tool again, and then you'll get access to this connector. And once more, with this plastic pry tool, you should be able to pop that off without a whole lot of issues. So next we gently lift up on our screen, and then there's going to be connections or connectors at the other end we need to remove as well. Alright, now since I'm demonstrating this on a used phone, here's another piece that's missing. A metal cover that goes over these wires up here. And this cover is held in by 4 Phillips head screws, 2 on the bottom here and 2 up top in these locations. And for these, you'll need the largest screwdriver to remove them. So just remove those screws and then remove that cover and set it aside. Alright, so after we remove that cover and get it out of the way, we're going to remove these connectors for these wires up here. And again, we're going to use our plastic pry tool. And these should pop out without much of a fuss. There should be 3 of these guys. There you go, that last one came out real quick. And now we can just set this aside. Alright, so here's a look at our old and new screens. And basically what we have to do now is to move over whatever we have on the old one to the new one that's missing on the new one. So first we're going to start with our home button. Alright, so first screw we'll need to remove is this screw that's holding in the wire for our home button. And for this, you use the bigger screwdriver once again. And once that's out of the way, you'll see 2 screws that you'll need to remove next, and after that you should be able to remove your home button. Just be careful you don't lose these screws. Okay, we get to remove this metal cover, and next we just push out on our button and slightly to the side, and there it is. And what I like to do is just as soon as I remove something from the old piece, just to install it on the new piece, so that way I know exactly where each screw goes, so less chance of a mix-up. Alright, so back up top, next we're going to remove these 2 screws and remove this cover. So there's one, and here's the second one. So next we just gently wiggle this, and this should come off like this. Alright, next we're going to get our prying tool again, and we're going to start removing this connector for our camera. We're going to start from this side, slowly but surely lift up. So again, here's the connection for our camera. It snaps into place here, and here's our camera itself. Alrighty, next we're going to remove this back plating. This is held in place by a bunch of Phillips head screws, one up here, and then there's a bunch more around the circumference. But again, this is a used one. I'm just demonstrating this for you guys, so it's missing these screws. But I'll go ahead and remove this one and then remove the back plate. There we go. Alright, so here's where we are right now. This is our old piece. We've removed everything we need to remove from this. So we can just toss this aside. Next, we're just going to put this back plating back on here, put the screws on. Next, we're going to put the camera back on. It's important to make sure this piece goes into this hole here and clicks into place. Same goes for this piece, for the wiring harness and everything else. And here's the wiring harness. Alright, next we'll put our speaker back on. It's important when you put this back on is to put this side in first, because it needs to kind of snap into place in the back here, and then the other side. And it'll also take some moving around to make sure you get the camera centered. Don't be afraid to turn this around and look into this hole here. Make sure the camera is exactly where it's supposed to be before you put this back on and put the screws on, okay? By the way, these screws are different sizes. The longer one goes up here and the shorter one goes on the bottom. Alright, so we're almost done. All we have to do is to reattach these 3 connectors back into 3 spots on the motherboard. And again, put that cover back on here. Ours is missing. But the way you reattach these connectors is you just start off with this one, which is this guy. You make sure it clicks or snaps into place. Don't press on it too hard if you can't get it in. Just start moving it around little by little until it clicks into place like that. And then you go on to the next one. So once we get these 3 in and the cover back on, we just put this back down. And next it's time to reattach this connector for our home button. And again, this goes right here. Alright, next all we have to do is to snap the screen into place. Go gently, start from up top. And it really shouldn't be that hard. There we go. Next we put our SIM card back in. Alright, so all we have to do next is to turn on our phone and make sure our touch screen is working properly. And it looks like it is. Sweet. That was awesome. Alright, so that was something different, but I'm sure some people out there will find it useful considering how popular these iPhones are and how often the screen on them cracks and breaks. So yeah, with that said, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more like it, but also check out these other related videos. I'll put a link to them on this side of the screen so you can click on them. There'll also be links in the description box down below. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.